After 2 weeks of discussions, the African Commission on Human and People's Rights has officially concluded its 81st ordinary session with a strong focus on addressing widespread rights violations. The session saw leaders and activists from across Africa renew their commitment to promoting and safeguarding human rights across the continent. Mariama Dem has more.
The 81st ordinary session of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights ended on November 6, 2024 at the Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara International Conference Center in Bijilo. A total of 631 delegates attended, focusing on the need for urgent action on human rights issues across Africa. At the closing ceremony, a final communique was presented by Honorable Salma Sassi, summarizing the outcomes, including the adoption of various papers and a concept note for a joint retreat with the African Code on Human and People's Rights. The session reviewed 8 communications and passed 14 resolutions aimed at strengthening human rights protection.
Resolutions are as follows. The resolution on the renewal of the mandate and reconstitution of the Committee for the Prevention of Torture in Africa and the appointment of its members. Number 2, the resolution on the renewal of the mandate of the Special Rapporteur on prisons, conditions of detention and policing in Africa. Resolution on the renewal of the mandate of the Special Rapporteur on the freedom of expression and access to information in Africa. The resolution on the extension of the mandate of the Advisory Committee on Budgetary and Staff Matters to include supervision of audit functions. Resolution on the renewal of the mandate of the Advisory Committee on Budgetary and Personal Matters.
Additional reports covered topics such as human rights violations in Sudan and the renewal of mandates for the Working Group on Communications, the Special Rapporteur on the Rights of Women, and other key human rights bodies.
5 country-specific resolutions as follows. The resolution on the renewal of the mandate of the Joint Fact-Finding Mission to the Republic of Sudan, the resolution on the impact of sanctions on the realization of human rights in Zimbabwe. Number 3, the resolution on the pre- and post-electoral instability in Mozambique, the resolution on the situation of human rights defenders working on environmental issues in Uganda, and finally, the resolution on the situation in Palestine and the occupied territories.
Vice President of the Commission, Commissioner General Ramatoulaye Njai, spoke on how member states are encouraged to implement the recommendations from the session.
What we do in terms of follow-up, how do we ensure that the recommendations we make and the conclusive observations we make actually are fulfilled? We do launch promotion missions. Promotion missions allow us to go in country and monitor the human rights situation, raise awareness about the Charter, monitor the situation in the country, and follow up on recommendations that have been made. So these are some of the things that we do to ensure fulfillment of those recommendations. Also, during the course of this session also, we granted observer status and affiliate status to NGOs. As I indicated, NGOs need to apply for observer status to be accorded that privilege of actually taking the floor of the Commission and highlighting the human rights situation in their respective countries.
Chairperson of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, Commissioner Remingoy Lombo, highlighted the importance of collaboration, noting that the session serves as a platform for addressing human rights issues and seeking solutions amid Africa's political instability.
Can only be relevant if together, and as human rights is a collective endeavor, if we follow up on these recommendations by we make recommendations because we hope that they would follow up on the recommendations. Otherwise, for 40 years, we would not have done anything if we don't implement the recommendations. And for
HEM Hussein Tomasi, representing the Attorney General and Minister of Justice of the Gambia, emphasized the role of education in overcoming human rights challenges. He commended the session for spotlighting human rights issues that impact economic development.
This session has underscored the urgent human rights challenges we face as a continent. Issues such as access to quality education, employment opportunities, poverty alleviation, and sustainable development are all critical for our progress and have been examined thoroughly. We must, however, prioritize education as a means to empower our citizens and empower them with necessary skills to navigate these challenges. Investing in education is not merely a pathway to individual success, it is a foundational element for national development and social cohesion.
The session concluded with resolutions and recommendations aimed at promoting and protecting human rights with the hope of advancing development across the continent. Mariama Dem, reporting for Star TV News.